Hey y'all, APG Jamie here. Welcome to the channel. I'm happy that you're here too. Well, I'm here, you're here too. So today we're doing multiple little projects, but it's kind of one project because I'm going to be using some pull tabs, as you can see here, and some UV resin and some rusty wire and some embossing powder, which we're going to use the little mini pancake cooker there to heat our embossing powders. Now, you do not want to use embossing ink on metal, okay? You can get the embossing powder to stick to it with water or other wet things, but not NOT embossing ink, because it will not dry on metal. Your embossing powder will melt and it will seem to be stuck, but if you handle it, it'll rub off, okay? So I'm using matte medium, fluid matte medium. Now, the issue with wet glues like this, okay, is when those types of mediums get hot, they tend to bubble and blister, which can add interesting effects, you know, to your little metal bits. Which on this one, I'm using a glaze, an embossing glaze, which is a clear embossing powder of sorts. And I'm using a regular embossing powder as well. I'll be using gold and a copper, and those tend to bubble and blister, which I love in this case. Is perfect, which you'll see. Now, when we first started, y'all saw me bamming around with my hammer and a little piece of wood, because some of these pull tabs can sometimes have sharp edges and get a little distorted when you open a can, because they come on cans, y'all. I can, you can, we all can. So, you want to be careful of that. Anywho, just continuing on with the embossing. That is a silicone coated parchment paper that I'm using in the pancake cooker. I think it's actually called Pancake Maker. They're like, I don't know, under $15 tentatively at the time of this video on Amazon and at the Walmart. Now, here's a notice. The device itself gets pretty hot from the outside, and they come with a very short cord. Just saying. It's like a 2-foot cord. It's very short. So, moving on. I've picked out, I don't know, like six pull tabs. I don't use them all. I'm not even sure I used all the ones I did the embossing on. Oh, it just made me so happy to emboss. Scorched timber, that one is, y'all. Oh, there's a list of ingredients in the description below the video. ... more to see said information. Okay. Maybe this one's scorched timber. What colors did we do? I don't know. One's gold, one's scorched timber, and one's antique linen. Oh, love those. So pretty, y'all. So pretty. Anywho, the glazed one did not blister at all, which I thought was kind of funny. But the other two did. But I love the effect. Just saying. Just fair warning. Okay? If you don't like the effect of that, use water. Because you can use water. Just saying. To emboss with. On anything, really. I've seen people sprinkle water around, add their embossing powder, and that gives you like splats of sorts. Very cool. So now we're distressing our embossed pull tabs. That one I put a little turquoisey color on there because it's the copper one. This one's getting black. Really ducked my finger in that one. I'm going to add a little more, let it dry for just, you know, a few seconds, minute at the most, and then wipe it off with a dry paper towel, kitchen roll, whatever you want to call it, or a cloth towel even. Not wet, because then you're just wiping the paint right back off. So this is packaging from a set of acrylic or photopolymer stamps or something. I don't know which stamps because it doesn't matter. The stamp system that I'm using, which is in clear envelopes in a folder or in a box that I can flip through, love it so far. Anyway, I don't need this particular part of the packaging, but it's cool packaging. So, you know, I've kept some. I don't have all the pieces. Good Lord, no. Anyway, trimming that out, I'm going to use UV resin. Now, UV resin does need UV light to cure. The epoxy kind sets up and cures over an hourly period of time. I don't know, depends on the brand and all that other kind of stuff. Sorry about that wonky noise. That was Champ. He decided it was time for him to come in the house. Okay, so I've got a couple of finger cocks, which is like a rubber glove just for individual fingers. The UV lamp. Portions of the video have been removed. You know, I mean, it's kind of redundant. A lot of this is redundant. I still show you a lot of it. It is sped up. Here I'm taking a jump ring, and as you may know, maybe you don't, that you want to twist them open. Don't pull them apart, twist them open. But these I'm going to adhere to the pull tab with the UV resin. And so I'm trying to get it flat because they're not necessarily flat. And I'm using the UV resin because I want to attach it to my pull tab, but I also want the jump ring to not be open, so I'm actually adhering the opening part of it to the pull tab. I hope that makes sense. And I'm zoomed in quite a lot to my desktop, and that tends to mean I get off screen on occasion, but hopefully not always. So, and it's kind of hard to show you and hold it where I want it without without adhering my tweezers into the UV resin, because once it's adhered, it's pretty stuck. So when I'm doing this, UV resin typically only works with clear things that the UV rays can go through, okay? Which is why there's also epoxy resin that does not require UV curing, but it can speed it up, just saying. And, you know, bubbles can always be an issue as well. I am no resin expert, although I did play with it as a child. I remember when this, I don't know if it first came out, but, you know, Santa brought me a resin kit that I had refills on more than once. Paperweights, y'all. They were paperweights. Anyway, working under the edge of the light where you can't see, you want to make sure, like I said, I'm using the finger cocks, just rubber gloves for your fingers. And Amazon, you know, jump rings, Amazon, depending on your local store and your availabilities. Anyway, yeah, are they stuck? Yeah. I'm like, okay. Now I'm just going to flip it over so it can cure up from the back too. Did it need it? I don't know, but I did anyway. That is a antique button of some sort. It has a metal shank on it. I cut it off when we weren't looking. And now I'm going to adhere it onto the pull tab. I ended up, when I flipped it back over so it can get the UV on the back part there, I got it slightly crooked, but that's okay. So don't notice if you should happen to notice it. This is a piece previously painted with acrylic craft paints, probably. Piece of Tyvek. When you use a heat gun on Tyvek, it bubbles and shrinks and does wonky stuff like that. It can also get holes in it. If you heat it long enough, you have to be careful because it's flammable. Just saying. It's Tyvek is a virtually indestructible stuff, paper sort of stuff that's used on United States Postal Services and in the housing industry. Yeah. So I want it to look like it has puddles of water, wet, and it's a very lightweight substance, so the UV resin is going to add a little bit of weight to it. Now I've got one of the pull tabs. I'm going to adhere there where I just added that UV. Now, like I said, the issue with UV resin is it really needs to be exposed to the UV to cure. So I wasn't real sure how well this was going to work because you can't see through the pull tab and you can't see through the Tyvek. So it appears to be on there fairly well, at least at this time. See, I'm checking it. I'm like, yeah, it's not sticky, And you can remove within reason some of the wet UV resin. I don't know about the epoxy one with a bit of alcohol, which is what I initially cleaned the pull tabs with. I don't know if I wipe everything off with it, but just to, help clean it off of oils or foods. I mean, canned good stuff. So I had some pop dots on the back of that little die cut thing that came from whatever thing it came from. And that's a word I'd already trimmed out and rounded the corners. Says elements because I liked it. I thought, yeah, that's its elements then. Yeah. And that is a previously made charm bead thingy. I don't know where it came from. I don't think I made it. I don't know. I clearance shop. I get stuff from the secondhand store. I get Happy Meal. I trade leftover trash stuff with my friends. You know how it is. Oh, and I love it. This is my favorite piece. Okay, paper dolls because they was on my desk. I love the girl. I don't mind the boys, but I love the girl. Okay, because she looks a little disgruntled. Like, you're making me stop playing to take my picture. And I don't know if you can tell, but her tights, that she's wearing, there's a hole in one of the knees. So she's a rough and tumble little girl. I don't know if she's still around. Anyway, this is some rusty floral wire. I just used the regular vinegar and water, whatever hoo-ha stuff was, and I formed it around one of the craft paints because I wanted circular but not a perfect circle. And she's going to get that butterfly. It's a Dollar Tree butterfly. I don't think I put that, well, everything's not necessarily precisely spelled out in the ingredient list below, but it's pretty generic stuff. And I was just wiping alcohol over my silicone mat. I am working on a silicone mat. And if you're using wire and pull tabs and stuff like that, you want to be careful and wary of sharp edges and things that can poke you, especially when it's rusty. Okay? We don't want nobody getting sick with lockjaw. Okay? Make sure you're up to date on your tetanus shots. Just saying. So I'm using, that's a silicone brush, and I'm just smooshing around the UV resin on the wire because that's going to hold it all in place, keep it all nice and firm. Did I have to do it? No, I could have just wired it up and glued it on the girl. So I cut the butterfly in half, and now I'm gluing it onto her back. And the butterfly technically is upside down. The wings are technically upside down, but they sure make me happy. And you know what? Your wings can be upside down. You can have one wing bigger than the other too if you wanted. You don't even have to have wings. So I'm just testing it with the brush there to see if it's set up. It does not stick to the mat, so it just pulls right off. And I'm just going to UV light it from the back side. And if it's thin enough, you can cut the UV resin with scissors if it's thin enough. And it can be sharp as well, just saying. So the girl's going to get glued on there at some point. I'm not sure. I think we see it. Okay. This is a glass flat back marble. I don't know what else to call it. It's a blob of glass. Okay. And I want to use these stickers on it, but these are one-sided stickers, meaning the pretty side is not sticky. So I'm putting the pretty side down into the resin because we want to see it through the glass. But because it's sticky, I'm going to put some resin on the back side to cover up the sticky of the sticker. Y'all, you can put paper too if you wanted. There could be, I've not had this happen, but I would reckon there could be some kind of interaction, chemical reaction with certain plastics or other such things with either epoxy or the UV resin. I don't know. Like I said, I've not had it happen. So there I'm just putting a really thin coat, or what I'm thinking is a really thin coat, it was, of the UV resin. And now I'm just testing to see if it's still sticky. And just going to go ahead and do it from both sides because it's not hurting. And here is a previously formed up piece of the same wire. I wrapped it around like 3 fingers, so I had like these oblong ringies. And when I pulled my fingers out, it made like a heart shape. And I'm like, oh, I love it. I love it. So we just kind of re-emphasized a heart shape. And I will UV resin the glass marble on there. Now, as you may know, or maybe you don't, it can be hard to take photographs of shiny things, metallic things, glittery things, glass things. So, yeah, just saying. Because, you know, reflections are a thing. So, I'm going to try to glue this on with the UV resin is the glue. But I'm going to have to hold it because I didn't think to put something in there underneath there to hold the wire up. Y'all know I'm just, yeah, I just keep creating because I'm like, oh yeah, and let's use this, and oh hey, what about this? And yeah, so here we're going to glue our girl with the wings to the wire ring. The girl with wings to the wire ring. Okay, so we're just going to wait on that. It's a weight. It's just an acrylic block weight. And I had this piece of desk fodder sitting there, and I thought, yeah, that's going to be perfect for a mini moo card. So you get to see the making of this mini moo card. I'm just wrapping it around that little rectangular cluster. And we are going to, I don't know, answer the phone, I think. We're going to look at it and think about it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to just trim that off right there. I don't think I used the other part of that wire yet. It's still on the desk. So it's technically, theoretically now desk fodder itself. So, what are we doing? Oh, I was looking for something to see if maybe I wanted to add something, and I picked up my little container of odds and ends and tiny bits, And there was this piece of velvet ribbon in there, and I thought, oh, that's a perfect color. So I put it on there, but I wasn't, you know, blown away by it. So we tried the rusty colored yarn fiber, and I'm like, no, I love the velvet, the juxtaposition of soft velvet, rusty wire, and not shiny cardstock. Okay. Now officially a mini moo is, I believe, originated to a half-size business card. I'm sure it was initially to save money, you know, for startup companies way back in the day when business cards were a thing. So they took them and printed the information twice on a business card, cut the business card in half. Hence the size of a mini moo card. They are 1.1 inches. That's one tick mark on the ruler, y'all. And 2.75 inches, which is 2 3/4. So, yeah, I love doing them. I was turned on to them by Lolly of Lolly Paper Co. and Aaliyah De Pina. And we have mini moo card Mondays that we typically post on Instagrams and our Facebooks. I'm not sure if they're doing videos on them anymore, and I've only done a couple because people don't seem to like to watch them. Just whining about it. I also love artist trading cards, coins, and souvenir coins because I do, because they're small and I seem to like the fiddly stuff sometimes. So I added some cardstock shims just to bump up the top part of that little cluster thingy, because the velvet's adding some depth to the bottom part. Weight on it. Now we're going back over here because I thought, oh, let's just go ahead and add some charms to that. So I got out some chain, and I found a doolaller. Yeah, it was a doolaller. I don't know where it came from, who it's manufactured by, or anything else. Okay? But we'll be adding it. So when you're putting chain on a jump ring, when you're folding the chain in half, essentially it makes the hole that you're slipping the jump ring into a little bit of a tighter fit. So it can be quite fiddly getting the jump ring in there. Chain. And they were twisted apart and then twist them back together, and sometimes you got to waggle it just a little bit to get the jump ring to close fully. You want it closed fully. That's the little doolaller thingy. Sometimes my fingers just let go of stuff just because that's what they do sometimes. Okay, getting it on there. Yeah, it takes some coordination, I'll tell you, to use pliers in both hands like that. Love it. Oh, flip-flop, y'all. It's my favorite. They're all my favorite. I actually like them all. What am I going to do with them? I don't know, but I can sure see that on a journal cover one day. I don't know when. One day. Maybe to go. I don't know. And that. Oh, I added a jump ring up at the top in case I want to use it as a journal jewelry, or otherwise attach it somehow. I don't know. No plans. There are no plans, y'all. Could you alcohol ink it? Sure you could. Absolutely. I'm going to have to redo it because I'm going to scooch it down in the frame. And I'm like, oh, look how pretty it is. It's pretty, y'all. I'm very happy with these. And she's so cute. Originally, I was going to put a word on her because this is called Wire, Words, and Why Nots, because I use some words. I use a lot of words in my talking voiceovers. So I love that. It's kind of bulky. You know, that flat back marbles, kind of, yeah. Mini moo. Ta-da! photo montage. It's like my favorite. Of course, I love the colors on there. It's not necessarily easy to photograph. It's not necessarily a great photo, but I love the piece. Look at this. We do have silver, gold, and tarnishness going on. Just saying, because I'm a mixed metal user. She's just like, oh, I can't believe you're making me stop playing. See the hole? Can you see the hole on her little knee? Y'all. She's like, no, I need to go play with my brothers. So there you can sort of see the sticker in there. Makes me stinking happy. I know I've already said it. Might say it again. Minnie Moo. No word on that one though. Well, flip-flopping around, couldn't decide. Anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you. Kind comments, likes, shares, and subscriptions. Thanks for watching. And till next time, happy art.